Okay, so a few weeks ago at Brand X Reviews, I did a review of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Series 1 Blu-ray box set. And in the meantime, since September 2014, Series 2 has been running. And on this last Tuesday, I think, which was the 9th of December, we saw the last episode before the winter Christmas hiatus. And it's quite a long hiatus because it's going to return in, I think it's March, so it's off the air for like 3 months, which is a bit weird. But me and Cor wanted to do a bit of a talk about the series so far, the first 10 episodes. So we're going to be doing a bit of a talk here, like I say, of the first part of Series 2. So enjoy. Talking about the first half of the series 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We did a review a few weeks ago of the Blu-ray set of Series 1, and Series 2's kind of been airing, and it's gone into kind of a winter hiatus till March, so Cor's probably got a bit more to say about this than me. I just kind of watch the series because I feel obliged, being a big fan of the films. I don't mind the series, we genuinely like the series. So.
Yeah, I certainly enjoy it.
So
yeah, this is my return to the videos because it's been like a while.
Yeah, Cor's not actually been in any videos for quite a while, so
by popular demand, I was got rid of. No, joking.
But yeah, so the series, it's kind of. I know the ratings of Series 2 haven't been all that great, but I think they've slowly been picking up again. They were having a bit of difficulties.
Yeah, I think the problem is it just had a very slow start. Did the first season? It didn't really do what people thought it was going to do. However, ironically, it was kind of heading in that direction anyway. But then they definitely kind of spruced up by the time the last mid-season hiatus was over and you got into the Winter Soldier stuff. It definitely picked up like considerably.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like the TV series when it first started, but they've done enough for me to kind of justify its existence. Enough ties into the films, enough not just nods, but like actual characters. And the way Series 2's going, I'm happy with it. So
yeah, we're going to go into spoilers here because it's kind of hard to talk about this without going into definitely spoilers for Season 1 and pretty much spoilers for what we've seen so far in Season 2.
And it's a bit of an event as well at the moment because we're kind of doing a review halfway through the series because at this moment the series is taking a bit of a break till March.
Yeah, kind of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is weird that way. Even out of other American shows, they often like break off things like the Super Bowl and other like kind of holidays and like events that we don't really have over here. So it's kind of like, why the hell did it just stop for 2 weeks? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is even worse. It tends to frequently have like a week or 2 weeks between episodes, and then usually around Christmas you just have this massive 3-month break. Although it's not going to be so bad this year because we're going to get the Peggy Carter series.
Yeah, Agent Carter, which starts on the 6th of January, I think.
Mm-hmm. Which has definitely been foreshadowed so far in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You've seen Peggy Carter twice already in like 2 separate like cameos.
She was in the first episode. I think she was in one a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But you were saying you wanted the Howling Commandos to be in...
Yeah, they were in the first episode of Season 2. You get this like flashback to the end of the Second World War, where the Howling Commandos and Agent Carter capture this Hydra officer and capture this strange alien artifact. And it's supposed to be the first like weird artifact that S.H.I.E.L.D. got. Back before they were actually S.H.I.E.L.D., it was still the Scientific Reserve. But yeah, you actually got to see the Howling Commandos again from Captain America: The First Avenger. And I'm definitely hoping they do carry over onto the Agent Carter TV show.
I imagine they would, because I know that they're going to have a lot of flashbacks, I think, in Ant-Man as well. I can't remember if she's going to be in Age of Ultron in any flashbacks. I don't think she is. I'm pretty sure it's Ant-Man that she's cast in that. So they are kind of doing a lot with going back to World War II era and presumably shortly after that. Yeah,
basically, to spoil the end of last season, you found out that, as was revealed in The Winter Soldier, Hydra had deeply infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. pretty much falls apart. Captain America reveals a lot of their secrets to like the press to like hurt Hydra. and everybody, pretty much your guy on the street no longer can tell the difference really between S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra, because the two agencies were just that intertwined that people didn't even realise Hydra was still around and operating under the umbrella of S.H.I.E.L.D. Everybody thought they were S.H.I.E.L.D., but they were in fact Hydra.
And also, that's carried over into Series 2, so
Yeah,
S.H.I.E.L.D. is very
series.
much...
I mean, some people thought why is season 1 even what's the point of this season? Why does this show exist? Well, it's very much in the second season. This is Coulson now as the director in place of Nick Fury, because he's gone underground, trying to rebuild S.H.I.E.L.D. They're on the run, the fugitives. They've gone from this massive national agency with tons of secret bases, aircraft, their own army at the beck and call.
Lanyards. Plenty of lanyards.
And now they're down to literally a couple of bases. I mean, they're actually operating out of an old scientific reserve base,
Which I think is going to be in Agent Carter series.
It would certainly be a clever way of reusing the set and saving some money.
I think it is, because on that Marvel Pulp to Pop series, they had the girl who plays Agent 13 in the Emily Vanderkamp, is it the actress?
You're asking the name,
Yeah,
remember name forgetting motherfucker.
Yeah, that's the actress's name. But yeah, she did that, kind of introduced it on the set. That
So
was
what's
using,
Sharon Carter or Peggy Carter?
Sharon Carter, yeah, Agent 13. So she was in this documentary that aired in America called Marvel Pulp to Pop, 75 years anniversary of since Timely Comics started, pretty much. And she was on the set of, from what we know from having seen it, Series 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the set you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Which I think is also going to be used in the Agent Carter series, so you're going to get to see this, literally using the same base. If that's true, I'd heard that that's the case.
It would make sense both from a money point of view that they wouldn't need two separate sets, and also from a logical standpoint, because it's been established in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that this base that they're hiding out in, one of the few they've got left, used to belong to the Scientific Reserve, as it was called, back during Captain America's time in the Second World War, before it became Strategic Homeland Intervention, etc., etc. S.H.I.E.L.D. basically.
But it'd be good as well, because it'd be kind of it'd be like the bridge in Star Trek, all these different series over generations. It's not the exact same bridge, but you have to have a link, or to have Cafe 80s in Back to the Future kind of thing, the place that kind of links it all together.
And also, it kind of leads what leads to the second appearance of Peggy Carter, because when they're looking into one of the big villains of this season, they look back through old Scientific Reserve files from the times when she was setting up S.H.I.E.L.D., and they actually find interviews that she taped, which is why you get the flashbacks to her at the end of the Second World War interviewing this Whitehall. Werner Reinhardt is his actual Nazi name. He just goes by Daniel Whitehall in more polite society to kind of hide who he is.
Kind of like the royal family calling themselves Windsor when they're actually Mountbatten. But yeah.
And probably just as many Nazi links.
Yeah, exactly.
No, joking.
No, we're not. I'm not. But yeah, so Series 2 has been very good so far, and they've developed the whole storyline that they kind of started in Series 1 with Fall of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, it kind of continues on with that vein. I kind of like it because all you really saw in Winter Soldier was S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to help and just basically getting slaughtered. They were completely useless. Whenever a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent's we're going to help the Cap, Winter Soldier just pop up and shoot them or something.
Yeah.
So it was actually nice to see what was going on in other S.H.I.E.L.D. facilities where S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually winning. Because Coulson's S.H.I.E.L.D. team actually managed to take the hub, one of the major... it's not the Traskelion, but it's one of the other major bases. Unfortunately, then lose that almost immediately to the US military, who come knocking on the door because... Well, basically, Hydra's been outed and everybody in S.H.I.E.L.D's now under scrutiny.
He's a leader, isn't there, to the military? Is it the
yeah,
CIA?
He's basically it's the military. He's a character from the Incredible Hulk. If you're familiar with the Incredible Hulk, it's kind of General Thunderbolt Ross's Chief Toady.
Oh yeah, I know.
What's his name?
Yeah, it was in the '60s cartoon as well.
Yeah, he was in the '90s Hulk cartoon as well.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, I've forgotten the name off the top of my head. But yeah, he's like a recurring character as the guy who's going after Coulson and his team. And he's just as distrustful as them as he's like the Hulk. He's like, you guys are criminals and I'm going after you, even when like evidence is pointing strongly towards the fact that, look, actually, they're on your side.
I did like that episode as well where there was it was being imitated, and you point this out where...
Yeah, basically they use the nano masks that you see in Winter Soldier where Black Widow manages to impersonate one of the shadowy council.
Jenny Agutter character.
And it's not revealed until she like takes off the mask that it's actually Black Widow.
But there's a bit in Series 2 where that guy, Thunderbolt Ross's Toady, as you call him, since we can't remember the name, double remembering motherfuckers. But yeah, there's a bit where Coulson's talking to him, and when you first watch it, you think he's actually him, but then you later realise it was somebody else wearing a mask.
Yeah, because basically they're like talking, and he's like, so, you know, are we going to have a problem now that you're here? And he's like, well, you know, I don't really see why we'd have a problem. And he's like, well, you know, are you going to call anybody? And he's like, oh, I'm not going to have to call anybody, am I? And if you like look at it the first time round, when you actually think this is the actual like character it's supposed to be, you think, is he toying with Coulson?
Yeah, why is he not arresting him?
And then when you like watch it again, knowing that this is actually somebody impersonating him, you realise he has no idea who Coulson is. He has no idea what Coulson's talking about. He isn't like taunting him. He isn't like messing with him. He's literally like trying to piece together like, who is he? Like, where's this conversation going? How should I be acting?
Yeah, it was pretty clever, that.
It was very good. And you also get one of the brainwashed agents ends up wearing like one of the nano masks, so she looks like Agent May. And she ends up getting electrocuted and kind of scarred. Now she's stuck looking like May, just like badly scarred.
Also, like some of the other characters he brought in, because I know him from like it was in the first 2 episodes of Series 2, the absorbing man, Creel.
Yeah, Crusher Creel. Again, a lot of people kind of had a problem with this first series that they didn't really have any like named Marvel characters that you would know. There's a couple of points where there were kind of characters, but you wouldn't necessarily know who they were. I think Deathlock was the most recognisable.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I haven't really heard much about him since like the 90s. But yeah, straight out the gate you had Crusher Creel. And they did quite a good job of like realising him on film, like his ability to like... He basically can absorb anything he touches and turn into that. So if he touched like something that's made of metal, he'd now be made of metal, and if he punches, you'd be like being hit by like knuckle dusters or something. And he's like a major adversary of the Hulk.
Yeah, he was. I like what they did with him as well, because in the comics, it's not just him and his clothes. He was caught, surrounded by the police when he had a ball and chain on him, and then kind of Loki did like a trick to turn him into the absorbing man. But also ball and chain had part of that quality to it as well. That would turn into it. They didn't use that in the series because it's kind of it looks a bit silly. But there's one bit where there's like a post with a ball and a chain on it.
Yeah, kind of like how you used to like keep people off the grass, and he kind of grabs that, and he does look about right, and it's like good one. Good, we like that.
But what other characters have they kind of introduced in series 2?
Well, they've introduced Mac, the other kind of black character. He's like a mechanic. Kind of along with Anton Triplet, he's like the other like kind of
Token black guy.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, he's kind of. I was more saying he's like become like friends with the Fitz character. He's got brain damage after like the end of the first season, and he kind of like draws him out of his shell because he's really weird at the start of the season and kind of like screwed up. Kind of like Anton Triplet though, he doesn't really have much to do. Although he does get like to kick a lot of ass in the last part of this season because he gets possessed by some alien stuff and he pretty much kicks the shit out of like most of the team. You also get the inclusion of Lance Hunter, who again is somebody from the comics, but he's kind of a minor character you won't really know about unless you looked him up. Which they tend to do quite a lot. They do have quite a few characters who are directly linked to lifted from the like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of the Nick Fury comics they used to do. Because Mac was I think there's something like Al Mackenzie or something. He's actually like a guy who's mentioned in the comics. It is actually like somebody from the comics, but he's not like a superhero or somebody who's that famous. But he's like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. There was another guy, one of the other survivors of the Tahiti project that brought Coulson back, who's also somebody who's been referenced in like Captain America comics and the Nick Fury stuff as like an established agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Kind of like Jasper Sitwell or somebody like that. It's not like a huge character that you would know and be like, oh god, that's, you know, such and such, he becomes like this hero or that hero. I'm literally talking like an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. who's actually been named in the comics, who's like made it into the show. But again, you wouldn't really know that unless you looked it up.
Yeah, it's been. I think when I've been watching this series, I had to kind of go to the Marvel wiki thing online quite a bit.
I must admit, even though I'm a bit more into comics, I've had to do that as well because I'm not a huge fan of the Avenger comics or the Nick Fury comics, so I have had to look up a couple of things. Another character introduced and quite well is Bobby Moore, Agent 19. Who's played by the same woman who did Wonder Woman in that really horrible, crappy, unaired pilot for the Wonder Woman series. Although she does pretty well. She kind of she's believable in the action role, and she's not a terrible actress either. So that was like a pretty good casting choice. And she's actually the first time they've done like a known, established hero because she is Mockingbird. And if you just pass me the. She's like an established like Marvel character who led the West Coast Avengers for a while. If you can see there. And they've got like a reasonable kind of facsimile of her costume. And of course she fights with two Tomphas. Also she's supposed to be the ex-wife of Hawkeye in the comics. Although in this they've kind of tagged her onto Lance Hunter instead. Presumably because they're not going to have her in the like movies, so they don't really want to like tag her onto Hawkeye like officially. But again, it's even though I didn't really know much about the Avengers, I recognised the name, so that was good. Not really like an A-list character like say Iron Man, but somebody you might know of.
So the one thing they've been building up to as well is the stuff with S.H.I.E.L.D, who's been the whole series from the start. And
yeah, some people like her, some people don't. Yeah. Especially early on, she had like a big complaint of she was basically like a Mary Sue character, which they even kind of took the mick out of a little bit because when you find out Skye isn't her real name, which was established pretty early on, you find out the name she was given at the orphanage was Mary Sue Poots, which she hated, which is why she called herself Skye. But eventually you do find out more about her, and she has actually been named officially as Daisy Johnson, who is like another established Marvel character, and unlike Mockingbird, who's basically just like a martial arts character, she actually has a proper superpower. She is the hero known as Quake. From the more recent comics, I think she's like 2005, 2006 kind of reasonably recent kind of comics.
In the last decade.
Yeah.
But this was a big reveal at the end.
I mean, I'm amazed to go she's not somebody that's got like history back to the 60s or something like Iron Man or Captain America. She's, you know, she's like fairly recent, not like, oh, we first made this character up in the 1940s.
Yeah. But this was a big reveal in the last episode that was on Tuesday night.
It's been building up towards that. They introduced her father kind of at the end of last season, and he plays a much bigger part in this. He's like some kind of doctor. He was unnamed, and he's got a bit of a psycho thing. He's almost like a psychotic version of like the Hulk or something. You don't really see him Hulk out as such, but he does seem to have this anger problem. Like half the time he's like fairly reasonable and kind of a bit bumbling and hapless. And then when he gets angry, you just see this like fury coming over him, and then it will cut away. And then later on they'll find like a couple of dead bodies and you're like, Jesus, what just happened? And that kind of advances through this. He's like determined to like reunite with his daughter.
Skye.
Yeah. And there's a couple of points where he like specifically says like, if you weren't around, I could take care of this right now, but I don't want to do it in front of you. And I think it is hinting at the fact that we still haven't seen this guy Hulk out, if you like, not yet. In the comics, he's actually a character called Calvin Zablo, and he's actually like a proper comic book character. He's the villain known as Mr. Hyde, and he is like a bit of like a Hulk-like thing going, because when he loses it, he literally turns into a monster.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, he's actually supposed to be like a big fan of that work, which has like inspired him.
That inspired the Hulk as well.
Yeah.
Thing.
I think he's gone up against people like Thor back when he was Donald
Blake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he blocked him from getting a job at the hospital where he worked. So he's like a long-term like villain is Mr. Hyde.
It's played by the guy out of Twin Peaks, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, he's like I say, he does quite a good job, because half the time you actually feel sorry for the guy, even though you know he's a psychopath. But at the same time, it's like I feel sorry for him, but they also at the same point I'm kind of half worried that this guy's going to say the wrong thing and he's going to freak out and go like psycho.
Well, he's kind of pissed off with what happened to his wife. Was it his wife?
Yeah, it's his wife. Again, this is where you get to see how like sick Daniel Whitehall is. Werner Reinhardt. Again, he's also like an established character from the Nick Fury Secret Warriors type comics. He was a character called the Kraken, although he's not referred to that as this in the show. But he was basically like a Hydra Uber agent. And he's running the Hydra Splinter Cell that's like screwing with S.H.I.E.L.D. throughout most of the first part of this season. And basically, you see him back during the Second World War. He was like a disciple of the Red Skull. And then you see him in the modern day apparently not having age, which is kind of weird.
Kind of like Baron von Strucker as well.
Yeah, I think they even mention
they did.
Strucker at one point. And ultimately you find out he gained this rejuvenation effect by vivisecting Sky's mother and literally harvesting everything.
That was like really gory bit, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was like a really effectively done bit, because he's like, just goes on about, like, if we're going to learn anything, we need to do experimentation. And then you just see, like, cutting and things being taken out and blood drain and stuff. It's like, it's fairly graphic for a TV show. It's like, jeez.
Yeah. But,
and also, you kind of understand a little bit more where Mr. Hyde's coming from, like, why he's so, like, fucked up.
And they built all this up over the first half of the series 2, and then...
That's certainly where the first 10 episodes were building towards, is like a final reveal of just who Sky is, after like teasing you for all this time with like, she's definitely not normal, but you haven't really seen how she's different. Well, they've definitely kind of confirmed that this is all to do with the Inhumans, which is an upcoming movie. I don't think it's going to feature Sky, but the Inhumans as a stand-in for mutants is what people are assuming.
That's what they are. I mean, it's I know very little about the Inhumans. I've got the sort of... It's like a film when you watch it all together. It's like a mini-series, a motion comic. It's quite good. So my knowledge pretty much is just from that. I don't really know much else about it. But they are
mostly my knowledge is from that as well. Just give me the...
But that's where they're going with the film. There's an Inhumans film in 2018.
Yeah, because of course they can't actually do X-Men mutants or anything to do with that, because that's all owned by
Fox. So they're kind of doing their equivalent of it, which is the Inhumans. And it's got its own...
Yeah, that is Quake, or who Sky actually is. You can see that. From the Secret Warriors, which again, it makes a lot of sense because that is like a S.H.I.E.L.D. thing. She was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. But yeah, the Inhumans we're talking about are these guys. Now, they'll probably be the ones you'll see in the film.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see Sky or anything like that in the film.
Yeah.
However, for once, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show is kind of doing what a lot of people wanted it to do, namely foreshadowing things from the films and presumably giving you extra information. I mean, the Inhumans is 2018, I think.
Yeah, so there's plenty of time.
Yeah, so we were a good couple of years away from that, and already the show's gone there with Inhumans.
Yeah, because it seemed to me that the TV series was taking like debris that had fallen from the films and just saying, look, we're related. Well, if the series can establish things and put that into the films, it's great, which is what they're doing, so hats off.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can kind of forgive the early things where it just seems all like they're picking up, like you said, the debris from the films. Because in some ways that's literally what is happening. Like, the evil agency in it is actually Hydra, and they seem to be just using the leftover from the films like the Extremis serum and stuff. Literally because they're taking out of S.H.I.E.L.D. stores and, piggybacking off that on their own, like, Deathlock project.
But yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff in the films coming up that I'm just hoping will tie in. I mean, you mentioned the Inhumans. A lot of characters, like I think Black Bolt, he's a character that he can talk, but when he does, it kind of levels mountains. He's that powerful an Inhuman. I'd heard.
Yeah, certainly the Inhumans seem to have like a mutant thing going. Namely, they're kind of born. Well, they're not actually. They're kind of born that way, but they're normal until they go through the mist, which is not really like mutants. But they're not like, oh, I got bitten by a radioactive spider and it's a 1 in a million thing. There's never going to be another like Spider-Man.
Yeah, like
beyond like maybe like a cloning or something like that. But these we're an entire sub-race of people who are born this way, and when we change big. We have huge destructive powers that we can't probably control properly all the time. Which definitely makes them a good analogue for mutants because, let's say, legally they can't. I don't think they can mention mutant, let alone use like X-Men characters.
But a lot of the levels of mutation can be anything, and part of their social structure is like through diversity. They have equality because there's no like, that group of people, like the Jews or the black people, kind of thing. Everybody's different, everybody's unique.
Yeah, because don't you say they kind of like evolve along a certain way? Like, this guy's the flying guy, and if this guy dies, somebody else will be born into the Inhumans with his powers.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a utopia as such. But yeah, it could be kind of interpreted that way.
Well, I say, from what you say, it sounds like an interesting premise, and well, I say, I can see why they're doing that because they can't do mutants, so they're doing something else, which is also something that not a lot of people might not be familiar with. So it'd be like an interesting. I mean, if you go into the X-Men, most people know, that's Wolverine, he's got the claws, and that's Cyclops, he can blast people with his eyes. They're kind of a little bit into the public eye, so that even if you're not into comics, you have a vague idea of what the deal is. Whereas in the Inhumans, I mean, I'm fairly into comics and I know next to nothing about them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them franchise. I think the success of Guardians of the Galaxy has like inspired them to do stuff like this, because Guardians of the Galaxy, a lot of people, us included, were kind of like, well, yeah, is that film even going to be any good? It's like nobody knows who they are. And it turned out to be like one of the more successful ones. But yeah,
also the Inhumans are definitely linked to alien stuff because they're supposed to be to do with the Kree.
Yeah, the Kree was stuck like a long time ago with their evolution, and they kind of started up this race, I think, to fight the Skrulls, and then they just kind of abandoned them and left them, and they just evolved into the Inhumans, so they are connected.
And in the show, they've also definitely established the blue alien that's like Blood brought Coulson back, which led to these like weird like visions he was having, and this weird like scrolling writing he was doing was all like leading up to this Inhumans thing, because they were started by the Kree. They even like gone so far as actually to physically name them. It's definitely the Kree. There's no like mistakes, or it's not like a fan theory or anything. It is the Kree.
Yeah, but just going back to Inhumans, I'd heard this, I don't know if I told you about this, I'd heard that Vin Diesel, apparently, who did the voice of Groot, so he did a voice, but he didn't, like a physical presence kind of thing.
Yeah, because he was like a CGI tree.
Yeah, whereas in the Inhumans there's a character called Black Bolt, whose voice is like so powerful, if he talks he can like destroy everything kind of thing. So you've got a character who can't talk, so Vin Diesel could actually physically play the Black Bolt and never talk. So, and he's apparently, I've heard that he's actually up for that as well, so that'd be quite good.
But I could see that.
Yeah. But, yes, what else have we not mentioned? Is there anything else on this? Where we think that they're going? Because there's still half a series left.
Yeah, there's still half a series. I mean, they definitively kill off Anton Triplett, so any rumours that have been flying around about him showing up in Age of Ultron are definitely false.
Yeah, it's IMDb, I think I said that.
Yeah, it was like people had seen him on the set. But I think he just must have been stopping by to like say hey to Joss Whedon or something, because he's not in there. Interestingly, they've already said like Age of Ultron's got nothing to do with the Age of Ultron comic. However, the Age of Ultron comic did briefly feature Quake, the character who's like been revealed to be Sky. So whether she might make a cameo in Age of Ultron, I don't know. Also, some people have like speculated that the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver might turn out to be Inhumans because they can't be mutants. But I don't know about that. Again, that's like fan speculation, so that's basically just people looking at it and guessing. Although I did notice, like, it was fairly subtle. I don't know, maybe I was writing too much into it. But when they're talking about Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch at the end of Winter Soldier, there's the good bit with, like, where he's talking about miracles and how they're a terrible thing. And in this, there's, like, a reference to, like, you're going to change, and change can be terrible or terrifying. It gave me the same vibe as that line from the film.
Yeah, that was what kind of like confirmed to me that Sky was going to be one of the Inhumans, because that's a fundamental part of like the change that they go. Although in Inhumans they go into some kind of mist and then
Yeah, you do
from it,
sort of. There is like a bit of a cloud that comes out, so I'm assuming that was actually supposed to be the mist
generated by the obelisk.
Yeah, the diviner, which you've seen is definitely not an isolated item. Because at the end you see this guy with no eyes. I mean, literally, it's not like he's blind or anything. He has no eyes. It's like his skin's like perfectly smooth there. Who's presumably one of the Inhumans, and he's holding up one of these diviners, and it's going is like, there is like a new presence among us. We need to talk about it. So that's obviously where the season is going. Is going to be the revelation of the Inhumans.
There's a thing about the city as well that they.
Yeah, there's basically a whole hidden city underneath where they find the mist, which is what like transforms Sky into Quake. She doesn't look any different because she's not one of those characters that like her skin colour changes or anything like that. I mean, she looks like normal when she comes out of the mist. However, in the comics, she has the power to create earthquakes. Initially, she was even suspected to be a mutant. It was only later on revealed that she was like a normal like superhero. She just like got a screwed up genetics from her dad. In the comics, she wasn't actually an Inhuman, but in the show, they definitely confirmed 100% she's an Inhuman. Anyway, what was the point?
Don't know what else. We were talking about the city and everything. I don't know if
Basically, the people were like theorizing that this was Atlan, the city of the Inhumans, because they've got this like secret hidden city. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case or not. I mean, the like producers and stuff have all been very cagey about it, and it's not like there's anybody living in this city that they go down into. It's like literally abandoned, like buried cities, miles underground. It's covered in dust. There's like empty stone corridors. There's no signs of anybody living there at any time recently. So the Atlan thing could go either way. Could be, could not. I don't know.
So, let's kind of wrap this up then, I guess. There isn't really... I mean, there's still half a series. This is like the first 10 episodes, isn't it? So there'll be another, 12 episodes when it comes back. Between now and then, we've got the Agent Carter series, which I think is going to run for 8 episodes. And you'll be happy to know, if IMDb's right, they've mapped it out, it's every week with no breaks.
That's good, because...
you lose track, if, you know...
Yeah, like I said, hopefully this is going to be... I mean, more of the Howling Commandos in it. It won't just be Agent Carter and that Jeeves guy, Howard Stark's butler.
Oh, Jarvis.
Yeah, Jarvis.
Jeeves, for the hell!
I don't know, it's just like a generic butler's name, but yeah, Jarvis.
No name remembering, motherfucker.
Shut up.
So,
yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. There's like a 2-hour premiere as well, which is...
Yes.
I don't think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. they just had like a normal length episode ready to get started. Right. Which I think is, again, a mistake they made with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it really took you a couple episodes to get into a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
Even long. I mean, like I say, you kind of went in not really liking TV shows to begin with, so
yeah,
it took you even longer to warm up to them.
That's the thing, because I mean, a lot of people have slated Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I aren't a big fan of TV shows. I'm more of a... I mean, I like TV certain ones, like, but I'm a big fan of movies, and when they try to graft things, there is exceptions. Like the Highlander series was good, off and on. But for me to like Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., for me to tell people it's worth a watch, give it a try, it starts a bit ropey but it picks up. For me to say that, I think is an endorsement.
And they have managed to... I mean, some people have said, oh, it looks really cheap and really tacky. They've managed some pretty effective things. I mean, like... they have like the whole cloaking jets. They have Quinjets like out of...
it don't look bad.
The Captain America film and so forth. They've done some fairly big like effects, shots and things. I mean, occasionally it looks a bit iffy, but for as a whole, it looks perfectly acceptable for a TV show, even like above the general curve for a TV show. So, like I say, I don't really know why people are like slagging it off for that.
But yeah, so Agent Carter series is going to have, I think the first episode is going to have Howard Stark in it, and played by Dominic Cooper, the guy who played him in Captain America: The First Avenger, and I think he's only in one scene.
Yeah, it's a shame. I would have liked to have seen more of him, but you know, I'll take what we can get, really.
Yeah, so that's good. It's good that it's based on like a very main character. I mean, Agent Coulson was a main character, but Agent Carter was like, you know, very much so a main character from that film. So it's good that they're doing a series with her, about her. Because it's got to have an Agent Coulson in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, but it's not the Agent Coulson series. He's a main character, but yeah. So that pretty much it. You want to wrap that up?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say. I think that's everything.
Yeah, brandxreviews.com is the website, and just want to say that
I think we've really talked like long enough.
Yeah, see, talking over me, I had plenty of stuff I wanted to say, and you just kept on interrupting.
Yeah, I know,
me.
but you've not been out of all these videos, so this is my turn to speak.
You know, yeah, but we agreed, you know, when we started this, you assured me that I could speak.
No, we're ending it here. Go on, out. Get your hands off my penis!
Look, this is the bloke that touched me on the penis,
Get
people.
out! Get out!
Damn it! Ah, yes. So you know your judo well. Good one. And you, Buff, are you waiting to receive the Topher's limp penis?
No! Get out!
You just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Get some cups.
Why did you do this to me?
Hop in the car. Get some cups.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off there.
Oh, we've only got one cup.
Ta-ta and farewell.